Hey music fans, this is Ken the Metal Professor, host of Mostly Metal on WVLP in Valparaiso, Indiana. This is going to be my second video in 2 days related to Testament. So I'm set up, ready to go here. I've got my Starbucks. I can social distance myself from people with no problem. Social distancing myself from Starbucks is a whole other story. And they went to drive-through only today, so it might take a little longer to get it, but it's going to keep me sane. So I'd been hoping to be able to sort of pair this video, which is going to be a rundown of my top 10 songs from Testament, to go along with my video yesterday of my ranking their discography. I was hoping to pair it with clips of an interview with Chuck Billy. He was doing the interview rounds, or was going to do the interview rounds, and the marketing group that works with campus and community stations like ours had set up a whole bunch of us to talk to him today. Unfortunately, he and the gang got back from Europe and weren't feeling that great, so cross your fingers for them. The interviews are, at least for now, rescheduled for next week, but I didn't want to wait that long just to kind of, get my Testament mode out of my head, because I do want to go ahead and think about other bands and rank them and give top tens and things like that. But even though I'm not posting clips of an interview, maybe I can at least give you some highlights of what the news about Testament is. They have a new disc coming out called Titans of Creation. The street date is April 3rd. And you can go to YouTube. You can see or hear, or both, I guess, 2 tracks. One is called, I'm going to check my page here just to make sure I get it right. One is called Night of the Witch. That was the lead track, and that's a blistering tune. And also Children of the Next Level. On YouTube, they have what's called it's not a video, and it's not a lyric video. It is the official visualizer. That's what Nuclear Blast has called it. They also have had the guys from Testament busy, Nuclear Blast has, doing promotion on YouTube, so you can see some very short clips of them encouraging you to pre-order and go to Spotify and listen. Sorry, I wanted to check on that because I left my phone sitting on the table over there, and it shouldn't make too much noise, but it did vibrate, and my microphone is also on the table, and so the microphone may have picked up a whole bunch of that noise. I will probably just end up editing all this out. All right, so Testament on YouTube. 2 videos for songs off the album. Some promotions where they encourage you to go places and pre-order and listen and things like that. And they also have some nice videos that are 8 to 10 minutes long that are, at least for some of the band members, talking about this person in their element. So say Eric Peterson says his element is fire, and it's basically a 9 or 10 minute video of just sort of a day in the life of Eric Peterson, recording and juggling music with his family and things like that. It's actually really, really neat. Steve DiGiorgio, earth is his element. Alex Skolnick, air is his element. And those are the 3 of those I was able to find. I was unable to find one yet for Chuck Billy himself or Gene Hoglan. Now that I've mentioned all their names, it's time to say, man, talk about a super group. Chuck Billy on vocals, Eric Peterson and Alex Skolnick on guitars, Steve DiGiorgio on bass, and Gene Hoglan on drums. I mean, I don't think it gets better than that in terms of a collection of people to put out an album. And that's been the crew for, I think, at least the last 2 albums. Gene Hoglan's been in and out since Demonic, and Steve DiGiorgio has been in and out since The Gathering. But I think they've stabilized with this crew over the last few albums. The albums have been coming out like clockwork every 4 years since the formation of Damnation in 2008, I believe it was. 2008, and then 2012 was, 2008 formation of Damnation. 2012 was Dark Roots of Earth. 2016 was Brotherhood of the Snake. And now 2020, Titans of Creation. Yes, I did it. So anyway, that's what's going on with Testament. Their tour was supposed to kick off next week in Australia. That's not going to happen. Near here, they were supposed to show up on, checking my page again, May 16th at the Forge in Joliet, Illinois. Who knows if that's going to go on as scheduled or not. We'll just have to wait and see. But again, hopefully I might have some clips of an interview with Chuck Billy next week, or if not here on YouTube, it'll be on the air on WVLP. All right, enough of that. Now I'm going to tell you my top 10 favorite Testament songs, and you can think about whether they compare to yours, whether I'm totally nuts or what. So coming in at number 10, I would put Careful What You Wish For off of The Gathering. The Gathering is a great CD. It's got many strong songs. Careful What You Wish For, to me, is the strongest of those. Nothing on The Gathering, as you can tell, really gets into the tippy top of Testament songs for me. This is the only song from The Gathering in my top 10, and it comes in at top 10. So as I mentioned in the other video, The Gathering to me is like a really strong B+, A- CD. It's strong from beginning to end, but it doesn't really have any one thing that stands out as the cream of the crop. Number 9 is FEAR, or Fear. Capital. It's all capital letters. It probably stands for something. I don't know. I haven't gone in to read the lyrics. That's off of Formation of Damnation. And there's my phone again. Okay, so I know what's happening with the phone. The calls are coming from our high school. Both of my kids are now home since the high school has transitioned to online classes. And when they have information to give out, they send you a phone message, an automated message that says, go check your email to get the message. And we have 2 different phone numbers associated with us at the school, my own personal cell phone and also a Google Voice number. So we always get called twice whenever a message goes around, and so it must take about 5 minutes for the system to cycle through from the previous number to another number. So both of those messages that interrupted us were from the same place. Anyway, Formation of Damnation is the album, and Fear, F-E-A-R, is the song off of it that comes in at number 9 for me. And my favorite Testament songs, Murky Waters off of Demonic comes in at number 8. Demonic has a different sound than the rest of the Testament discography. It leans a little bit more into death metal. Chuck's growls got deeper, but I do like Murky Waters. It's a very murky song. The disc is kind of murky. But for whatever reason, the mood that song sets up to me just gets me every time. Number 7, Do or Die off the Legacy, going back to their first disc. And when a lot of people think of the first disc, maybe Do or Die isn't the first track that comes to mind, but it's my favorite one on that album. Number 6, Hail Mary off of Low. Low was their sort of comeback CD after The Ritual. Hail Mary, to me, it's a nice, fast-paced and heavy tune that makes me want to tap my toes, like thrash should, I guess. Malpractice off of Souls of Black is my number 5. Souls of Black is not one of my favorite Testament CDs, but there are some very good songs on it individually, and Malpractice is my favorite. Number 4, Electric Crown off of The Ritual. And I think when I did my video yesterday about ranking the CDs, I had said that Electric Crown was my number 3 song. I guess I lied. It's number 4. I think The Ritual may not be the favorite disc by Testament for a lot of people, but my gosh, I like Electric Crown. It's a great lead-off track. And number 3, Practice What You Preach, the title track off of that CD. Practice What You Preach is my favorite Testament CD, and the title track is my 3rd favorite Testament song. The Preacher off of The New Order is number 2. I love the way the screaming Chuck Billy announces the preacher at the start of the song. I know they don't really sound that much alike, but for some reason the way he screams the preacher reminds me of the way John Oliva screams in Savatage sometimes. And then number 1 off of Practice What You Preach again, Nightmare. It's one of the shortest Testament songs. It's only like 2 minutes and 21 seconds, but it's fast. It starts up right away. It gets to the point and does its business and then gets out of there and leaves you happy and wanting more. So there we go. That's my my top 10 Testament songs. I guess I didn't really say much about the songs individually. One of the things about Testament is they have a very tight bandwidth in terms of their song styles, in that they all sound like Testament. You know it's Testament. It kind of sounds the same. A lot of bands, if you go over their discography, there's quite a lot of spread in terms of what they've sounded like from over here to over here. And with only one or two exceptions, Testament's bandwidth is very, very tight. So it's a lot of times really hard to distinguish the songs, and it's not because they become monotonous. It's just, they sound so Testament-y all together as a set. It's almost like there's not much point in breaking them down by albums anymore. All right, so at some point, maybe I'll have an update to this to say how Titans of Creation ends up contributing to this top 10. Maybe one of the songs off of Titans will crack my top 10. We'll see. If that's the case, I'll put an update to this video. Anyway, enjoy the music. Good luck with your social distancing. Don't buy toilet paper. And I will try to whip something out here again tomorrow.